The Will You Grow Show goes live Sundays 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern. To receive notifications, click the subscribe button beneath this video, or visit YouTube's Will You Grow channel to see more shows and videos. And now, here's Will You founder Angelique Medow with this week's Will You Grow Show.
Welcome to the Will You Grow Show. How are you? I'm Angelique, and I'm here to ignite your inner courage to release yourself from limitation. I'm the founder of Will You and WillYouGrow.com, an inspirational multimedia company that provides personal growth and joy through education, conversations, and adventures. I'm in the studio with our audio aficionado, Ben, and our video Santa, Neil. They make this show happen while sharing their colorful commentary. This is the 13th in a series of shows about self-care and is titled, What is Personal Growth and Why Do You Want to Do It? So let's get into it. What is personal growth? Simply put, personal growth is learning to make choices on purpose, which promote well-being for us, others, and our world. The term personal growth, also called personal mastery, bettering oneself, inner work, and self-improvement, all those terms refer to a person's conscious choice to grow themselves in ways that generate lasting well-being and joy. Common studies show that there are 4 areas of personal growth. The first area is spirituality. Spirituality is the most personal aspect to our lives. The second area is mental. The mental aspect represents the things we learn and how we express ourselves. The third aspect is social. The social aspect covers all areas of our relations. And the fourth area is physical. The physical aspect is simply our body. From the personal and work experience that I've had, personal growth affects all areas of life, from how we treat ourselves, our family, our belongings, each other, and our world. So what does personal growth look like? Sometimes it's easier to say what something isn't rather than saying what it is. So I'll share an example and story of what personal growth is not. This is one of my favorite stories, often told by the famous mystic Sadhguru. There once was a man, a hard-working man. When he was done with work, his co-worker and buddy asked him out for a drink. Although he'd promised his wife that he'd be home at 6 o'clock for dinner, he had just a little time yet, so he thought, okay, just a quick drink. Well, one quick drink ran into the other, and the next thing you know, it's 2 a.m. You know, drinking people and yogis have something in common. They're both timeless. Did you know this? Yes. Well, when he realized that it was 2 a.m., he scrambled to get off his bar stool and stumbled out of the place. And he wanted to hurry to get back home since his usual route just seemed too long that night. So he thought he'd take a shortcut. When he moved down off the road and into the brush, it didn't take long until that thicket started to attack him. Next thing he knew, he was face down in some rose bushes. And it hurt pretty bad. Well, at least it kept him awake and out of the bushes. So he blasted up through those bushes and ran the rest of the way home and started looking for his house key. Well, thank goodness he found it in his pocket, because then he could still sneak into the house quietly without his wife knowing that he was out. Well, for some unknown reason, the key didn't work. He kept trying and trying, trying and trying. You know that look? Trying and trying, but no luck. And he wondered if his wife had changed the locks. Then he got the idea to turn the key the other way around. And when he did, he was in luck and the key worked like a charm. He made it into the bathroom without waking anybody up, so he could get himself cleaned up a bit from his fight with the bushes. He found some Band-Aids and applied them and crawled into bed without waking his wife. Whew, I'm safe, he thought. Well, the next morning, his wife dumped an entire bucket of cold water on his head. When he woke up then, with a start, What? He exclaimed. You fool, she said. Out drinking again. No, honey, I promised you 6 months ago after the last time that I wouldn't drink again. You lying idiot, she said, and grabbed him by the nape of the neck and dragged him into the bathroom. What? He said. Look, she said. He looked up and saw that the bathroom mirror was covered with Band-Aids. Go ahead, laugh out loud. I know you want to.
Oh, my.
As that famous mystic and yogi who tells that story also said, quote, you're BSing yourself into well-being by arranging things on the outside to be a little more comfortable. If you want true well-being, in is the only way out, unquote. So why do it? Why do personal growth? When we come back, we'll have our Love Our Humanness part of the show to discuss what's up in our world and whether we're choosing to grow and what that looks like.
If you wish you had notes for today's show topic, your wish is granted. You can receive free weekly articles emailed to you every Sunday that match the show topic. And you'll have free anytime access to all prior articles, shows, adventure videos, affirmations, personal success stories, and the latest happenings at Will You. Here's what to do. Just click Show More in the description box. Then click the link for free weekly inspiration show notes. Type in your email address, hit enter, and you're set. You'll start getting free weekly articles in your inbox every Sunday. And you'll have free anytime access to hundreds of inspirational ideas and support from Will You. Get your free show notes by clicking free weekly inspiration show notes in the description box. You can heal with words, ease anxiety, create peace, hope, and love within with these elegant new hardcover affirmations books, card decks, and journals by Angelique Medow, founder of Will You and WillYouGrow.com. Join us on tour to meet Angelique as she shares hands-on tips to inner peace and harmony by integrating the affirmations books, card decks, and journals into your health and happiness lifestyle.
I love getting to spend time with Angelique and especially learning how to use the wonderful tools that she's created. I've been using them at home and taking the time to spend 5 minutes just to focus on whatever card I drew for the day. And it has given me some peace and space to just get calm. And then to spend some time with her today and learn even more about how to use these cards and to journal about these experiences. It's just even more fulfilling because she's such a sweet soul and makes it okay even when I feel frustration or I feel conflict. And she helps me see that this whole purpose of my life, no matter when I'm struggling or frustrated or angry or not happy and joyful and blissful, that all of that is still okay and that it's all for a reason. Using these cards, even without her with me, she'll still be there in those cards. Now that I know how best to use them and truly feel them, I have confidence that I am going to be so blessed, and I'm so grateful.
Select a tour date now to meet Angelique and fun new like-minded friends for hands-on tips to more harmony in your heart, mind, and home. Click the link in the description box for the South Carolina adventure, and we'll see you there.
Welcome back. So, are you growing personally? Are you making conscious choices on purpose which promote well-being for you, others, and our world? I'll ask 3 questions that can help us know if we're actually growing personally or just talking about growing personally. Reminder that growing personally means we are becoming aware, more consciously aware of the choices we make, what we think, say, do, and that we choose things that generate lasting well-being and joy for ourselves and all. Okay, I'll ask you the questions and you keep track of your yeses and nos. Number 1, do you blame anything for your choices? For example, do you ever say, I couldn't help it that I ate the whole gallon of ice cream, slept with a secretary, and blew all my cash on blow? Number 2, do you feel angry more than once a month? Number 3, do you experience the same arguments with your spouse over and over? Or do you experience repetitive relationship cycles? Or do you say, we break up and make up? Or we feel extreme highs and lows. You just got to know her cycle. If you experienced any yeses, there is room for personal growth. At my company, Will You, personal growth is experienced through education, conversations, both of which we're having right now, and adventures, taking action and exploring ourselves and life. We learn to be peaceful and redirect anger. We learn to be interested in life and overcome procrastination. We become passionate and overcome laziness. We become kind and compassionate to ourselves. We recognize the power of being and presence. We become responsible for our own well-being. We open to new things and skills, and we shift our mindset to see things clearly and with fresh possibilities. So how do you learn personal growth? Well, there's one main thing that is needed to allow ourselves to grow personally. That one thing we must allow to grow ourselves is willingness. Now, the good news is that it's in our complete control whether or not we choose to be wholeheartedly willing. Because willingness is wholehearted openness to learn and transform. We must be willing, or our resistance to the growing and learning blocks the growth. Wholehearted willingness means we're all in. All of us wants to learn and grow. So although there are many books, articles, workshops, and coaches that teach personal growth, and there's plenty of information on the internet, if we aren't willing or open to learn, we'll find ourselves in the bottom of a binge watch or in a box of donuts and continue that cycle instead of growing. Personal growth can help in all areas of our life. It can help us at work. It can change our attitude towards work and therefore open ourselves to opportunities for advancement. Personal growth can help in growing emotionally and mentally and becoming a more considerate, loving, and caring person to ourselves and others. It can also help us to see mistakes and negative habits and lead us to correcting and changing them ourselves without having to be nagged or have a lot of repercussions from someone else. There are many techniques for personal growth, such as creative visualizations, repeating and feeling affirmations, developing a positive mindset, and meditation. Personal growth also involves things like counseling, coaching, energy work, revitalizing play, and reading. A very simple and useful method for personal growth is self-reflection. It's also free. We can look at our behavior and life with an open, unbiased mind. This will show us what changes we need to make in ourselves and our life. We can also look at how people behave and act. In this way, we can recognize positive and negative characteristic traits and become aware whether or not we possess or lack those traits. In this way, we can learn what we need to improve. So for this Love Our Humanness part of the show, we're going to discuss where it is that we are aware of our choices, whether or not we're making the choices for well-being, and what we might be able to do in order to encourage ourselves to make those healthy, wise choices. So, Mr. Neal, I know we were talking about your knees earlier. We were talking about your knees earlier. You had mentioned. Tell us about your knee.
My knees? Mm-hmm. Well, I'll be 52 in 3 weeks. And my knees are 62. There's hardly any cartilage in my knees. It does hurt to stand unless I have really good shoes. But I'm not in pain. I'm not in constant pain. But it hurts sometimes. And I know I need to do something about it. But I'm...
And how long have we been talking about doing something about it?
Long time. Long time.
Probably before you met me.
Before I met you, definitely. But my knees have been like this, 10 or 15 years. Mm-hmm. Slowly getting worse.
It's time to slap some new ones in there.
Put some bionic knees in there. Maybe I can jump. It's funny. I can't. That's as low as I can go. Oh, see? If the microphone can pick that up.
There's some clicking going on. I'll narrate the
Yes, I'll add some sound effects.
Mm-hmm. Some Foley for this episode.
Yes.
So, yes, I've been procrastinating about my knees.
Mm-hmm. So when we're procrastinating, we're not all in. We're not wholehearted about
You're right.
well-being.
You are correct.
And that's not to, there's no shame in it. I mean, this is where you are. And so it's just a matter of just really looking at yourself, doing the introspection, and giving yourself the opportunity to say, is good enough good enough? Or are we making choices for well-being? Well-being is when we're growing personally, when we're talking about it and making choices that are good enough. Mm-hmm. We're in a cycle, which can take years and sometimes a lifetime. And when we're in the middle of it, we might not even see it. The day can go, another day can go, another day.
And another problem arises to take its place.
And it gets worse. Yeah. Are we aware of the cycle? Becoming consciously aware of the cycle is part of personal growth.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of folks aren't even aware.
Oh, I'm aware.
Of that.
Yeah.
And then, welcoming the fear, getting to what is it that I'm afraid of doing? Because you mentioned 2 things that you could do to improve it.
Walking, getting off my butt and exercising my knee, which also takes that off. The more this grows, the more pressure I'm putting on my knees. So a friend of mine, he's in the same boat a little bit that I am. Getting up, walking, and then going to see a fellow who has gone through the Will You program, actually, Dr. Jerzy. Because I forget his actual...
Integrated physical therapist, which is a long study, which he can do pain-free healing on all different sorts of issues. From physical pain, he fixed my knee more than once when doctors said that I was going to have surgery, as well as things that seem a bit untangible, like getting rid of inflammation in the body or changing the rhythm of the heart and other things like that. So it's painless, and it's covered by insurance. And this just happens to be someone that we know that we have trust in because we've used him or I have over more than 10 years. So those were two options that you gave yourself out loud without us knowing what the topic was. I didn't tell you in advance.
And I know Jerzy. So it's just a phone call. Hello, my knees. And the other is walking, of one of which I don't do it enough because I get, I'm feeding myself excuses. But I start doing something, and then by the time it's done, I'm mentally awashed. Whereas that's an excuse. I've said this time and time again. I need to build that into my day. And yesterday I did. Yesterday was one from last week. I didn't think about it. I saw Rudy was depressed. I needed to get out. We got in the car and we just went and took a lovely walk along a creek there in town.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Now,
that makes me feel good.
Yes, it does. And every time you go on your walk,
yes,
you come back and tell us how much better you felt.
I know. So why in the blankety blank aren't I doing it every day?
Well, rather than criticism,
I know,
and say why don't I? That's looking at the negative side. The question that you might ask yourself is, what do I need to know in order to make this a part of my day?
I already know it. I already know that it's going to make me feel better.
That must not be enough or you'd be doing it. So there's something else in there. What do you need to know? There's something else in there that's holding you back. And getting to know that part of yourself, the part of yourself that squashes it, you have to get to know that part instead of trying to run it over.
I see.
The respect of that part of you that's afraid.
Oh, those two are fighting each other. And the more they fight, the more nothing gets done.
The more Rudy gets depressed. That's his dog, for those of you who don't know. But see, there we are. We know the cycle. The cycle is we keep doing the same things. Yes. We keep getting less healthy, and we depress our family members, our dog, or whomever, and we have to wait for the depression to show up on the face before we act. We have to wait for the pain to show up in our knee and cripple us before we go and try to fix it. It's a cycle. And just like last week, the question was, does this choice give me life or death? Health or harm?
Yeah.
Okay? So here we are. We know what we know. We know what the opportunities are, but what do you need to know in order to make that healthy choice? Are you willing to sit with that until next week?
Yeah.
We want to hear what the answer is. Because this is the process, ladies and gentlemen, of personal growth, what we're doing right now.
Yeah. Every week we do it.
So he knew all the things that were keeping him stuck, but he hadn't gotten to addressing what it is that's causing that, which is the fear that is driving these choices to be sedentary or not make choices that are full of life. We need to love and allow ourselves to learn about that part of ourselves and understand the fear, care about it, and give it healthy choices and options so that we can move out of
the
cycle and into vibrant well-being, health, options, choices, excitement. Yes. This is personal growth, this process we're doing right here. And you can do this at home, and you can also work with someone who can stand beside you as you experience your own process and help you to be able to see what might be getting in your way. Mr. Ben, what have you been experiencing in your own personal growth process?
I'm perpetually in the mindfulness reflection stage of my growth. We've got a long journal of things we could work on, but it's just it's just that, and it's not physical either. So Yeah, I guess in summary, because, there's a lot of ambitions or parts of my ideal self that I've yet to successfully integrate into my reality self. And it's just really easy it's comfortable to just be in your routine or lack thereof, whatever the case may be. And, we've talked about this before. Neil, I'm sure, knows that he's still going to get to the next day and everything's still going to be fine if he goes on the walk, or the dangerous part, if he doesn't go on the walk. And it's just, I think I'm in the same boat of, it's just taking those steps. Were you ever bad at pulling the Band-Aid off after you get a shot?
Yes.
It's all in your arm hair. It's going to hurt.
I kept it on for days.
Yep.
With this massive, yucky Band-Aid just dangling from my skin.
Got to do the shower method.
Yes.
The water's, even though it's not really doing anything to the adhesive, it just makes you feel better. I'm I couldn't do the quick tear. So something, it's that fear of the change or the failure or the success. I don't know.
That's a good analogy, though. You're going to rip the Band-Aid off. Don't be afraid to rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah. So, things that we've talked about before of, like, eating better, exercise. All those things are still there for me. And we've talked before about almost plateaus or like seasons of change and feeling the approach of that. And ever since the pandemic started, I've just sort of been afloat,
It's stuck in a rut.
So my plateau is seemingly endless, I suppose, for different areas of my life.
Never-ending plateau of Ben.
So yeah, I've also sensed that the approaching ladder or whatever it is, that next stage, but it's normally fallen into my lap, I guess. And apart from this show, everything else that I want to work on is going to take an action on my part. And I don't know if that's an age thing or just all the things that I happen to be, my ambitions currently, it's going to require some actions. So it's just having the courage of, why not me? Why wouldn't I be able to go do that?
Right.
And I guess I don't have an answer for those yet. So
Work in progress.
Well,
It's part of personal growth.
which part?
Every part that he just mentioned. He knows, sort of, kind of like me.
Awareness of the cycle is the first step.
Yep.
We can get trapped in thinking.
Yep.
Thinking about the options, thinking about what might change, thinking about what we might lose by making changes, thinking about 5 steps ahead of the game, and trying to answer all the questions. That's where the mind is a trap. That's where thinking is a trap, because nothing has changed. We aren't actually doing anything, but somehow we convince ourselves that thinking is doing. Thinking is doing something.
yes, I'm on a treadmill of thinking where I've,
Hamster wheel, more like, because a
Yeah.
treadmill, actually, you get some exercise.
I'm never going to get there.
Hamster
I'm never
wheel,
going to get there.
you can't even fit your body on it,
this
right?
is the doggy paddle version of that. It's
Right.
very slow.
Right. Well, recognize, though, that is the part of us that is actually winning by losing. we're giving and feeding all our energy into our thinking so that we don't have to do something. So you might not have been aware that that was also a cycle. The thinking is the cycle instead of thinking our way out of it. So what we might have just done here today is help to bring your awareness to the thinking cycle so that you can choose to choose differently. Catch yourself and say, hey, I just realized I've probably been thinking about this for an hour and I haven't gotten anywhere. What can I do? Look at the positive side. What can, not answering all the questions. What can I do right now? And then do it. If not immediately within that day, do it. Find a way to make sure that it happens. Because who's in charge of our schedule? I don't care if we have 12 bosses. We still choose to show up. And yeah, we all have bills to pay, but we still make the choice. If we blame it on somebody else, anything else, whether it's our boss, our wife, our dog, we're not fully taking responsibility for our own well-being. Next thing you know, it's our boss's fault that our knee hurts because we had to go to work. Mm-hmm. Okay? This isn't a way that personal growth works, and it's a cycle and you never get out of it. It's always a blame game. So congratulations for sharing things that are personal and maybe even a little touchy. And I'd like to also congratulate you because you both just pointed out things that are hard, that you're still working on, that you haven't overcome. But I'd like to share the things that I see about you where you are growing personally and they are accomplishments, where you have achieved things. It's often easy to look at all the things we aren't doing, right? And criticize ourselves. But what you are doing, to be able to own who you are and express it out loud. That takes some people a whole lifetime and some people never do it. They're just always saying what other people want to hear.
Yeah. Make excuses.
So this is enormous. I'm really proud of you. And it's an honor to be able to see the growth that you are experiencing. I've also experienced listening to other people talking about your growth and watching, describing you. Someone just a couple of days ago said, those guys are really into it. I love watching that. Because you are involved in the process. You're not just talking about it.
That's right.
So thank you very much, gentlemen. All right. We love our humanness, whether it's yours, theirs, all of ours as a collective humanity. It's part of the personal growth process. So give yourself the credit for all those wonderful things you are doing and love the part that needs to still grow a little more. People are different from one another, and what works for one might not work for another. This means that each of us can and would need and want to explore the various techniques and ways for personal growth to find what's suitable and hope-filled for us. As John Vanier said, quote, growth begins when we begin to accept our weakness, unquote. And as Richard M. DeVos said, quote, the only thing that stands between a man and what he wants from life is often merely the will to try it and the faith to believe that it's possible, unquote. If we feel unworthy of getting to know and growing ourselves, remember and repeat our 3 affirmations from the last weeks. They are 1, I do matter. On 3, we'll say that together. 1, 2, 3.
I do matter.
Number 2, I am worth knowing. On 3, 1, 2, 3.
I am worth knowing.
And number 3, I am important. On 3, 1, 2, 3.
I am important.
Rather than fighting, fleeing, stuffing, drinking, or refusing to grow, we can create a safe inner place to grow, know, and learn. By doing so, we neither look to others nor lean on them to teach us. This allows us to learn from within. This also allows us to simply share life and love with others rather than needing something from them. So the question I'll leave you with is, will you? I encourage you to give yourself the freedom to grow. No one can grow for you, and by doing so, you'll always know that somebody cares, and that somebody is you. Let us know how applying today's concepts works for you. We enjoy hearing from you. And heads up on our Will You tour dates. Later today, we'll be speaking at our sold-out Will You Grow, Love, and Adventure brunch at Knoxville, Tennessee's luxury event venue, Ancient Lower Village. We want to thank all the wonderful people who've supported and shared time with us there. It means so much. And we hope to see you again, or for the first time, at our upcoming events. Join us in the Sea Islands of South Carolina. Advanced bookings are required, so take a look at that event video next for all the delicious details. Then book for future fun with us in South Carolina. Just click the link in the description box to book. And stay tuned to future shows on our website, willyougrow.com, to see the complete listing of future events and bookings in South Carolina in May, and at Ancient Lower Village in June, July, and August for our Love Nature Tours. Again, you may find all the details on willyougrow.com. And now, take excellent care of your very fine self, and I send you off always with love. From Angelique.
Join us in beautiful Beaufort and Hunting Island, South Carolina, May 1st to the 21st. Beaufort is an historical seaside city founded in 1711 that maintains its antebellum architecture and small-town atmosphere, while surrounded by the sultry scent of salt marshes and its delicious and infamous frogmore stew. Join Angelique for a personal word medicine reading at Nevermore Books, and dine with her at a favorite local restaurant in downtown Beaufort. To relax in nature at the beach, join Angelique Mondays and Wednesdays at Hunting Island National Park, just 20 minutes from Beaufort, for a lighthouse tour and serene beach walk. Or join her Tuesdays and Thursdays on Hunting Island for an easy and fun bike ride through the sandy forest trails, followed by a seafood lunch on Tuesdays at nearby Johnson Creek Tavern. All you need to do to join us on tour is to make your own travel and lodging arrangements to Beaufort or Hunting Island, South Carolina. Then book your adventure tour date with Angelique in the description box below anytime May 1st through the 21st, and we'll see you there. For more information about programs offered by Will You, mentoring with Angelique, and to watch video success stories from clients, explore willyougrow.com. If you or your company are interested in inspiring our mutual audience by sponsoring this or another of our programs, let's talk about it. Boost viewer confidence and trust in your company. Call 1-833-WILL-YOU, then press extension number 6. Make sure to click the subscribe button to get reminders before upcoming shows.